Welcome to True North Perspective. My name is Sean. In today's video, we're going to be discussing the latest updates on the situation in Gaza. We're going to be looking at what the situation is with their aid and food and resources. We're going to be discussing journalists. We have some, bad news in that area. Journalists are getting massacred. I'm going to give you an update on how many have been massacred. It is making it very difficult for us to get news and updates from Gaza because, for one thing, they're not allowed to go in, and if they do go in, they are getting massacred. We're also going to talk about the veto from the U.S. on the ceasefire that was proposed, and overall, we're going to, take a look to see what is going on. And I can tell you right now, the situation has not changed much. It remains the same. It's all been talk when it comes to ceasefire. But without further ado, let's get right into the content. We're going to start off with the veto of the U.S. I'm going to show you a very quick article and read out just a couple of lines from it as to why the veto happened and what the reasoning behind it was. I'll tell you right now, instead of worrying about some reasons like Hamas and trying to, pinpoint exactly where they are and eliminate them completely. Worry about the kids that are not eating. Worry about the women that are not able to feed their children. The young children that are actually dying to starvation and malnutrition. I mean, come on. Food is a basic right. Sure, you want to get rid of Hamas. I don't disagree. Terrorism should not be accepted, but come on. Right, you're going to withhold food until you find every single one of them that's associated with Hamas. How long is it going to take you to do that? We might as well just wait till the entire city is just completely annihilated, right? Until the state is completely annihilated before you send food in. It's just a pity, it's heartbreaking to see the children, but let's take a look at the article, and we'll go from there. And so there's the article. This is actually published by the Jewish Chronicle, and you can see here for yourself, the U.S. blocks UN Gaza ceasefire resolution over Hamas's peace plan rejection. So let's take a quick look at it here. The U.S. has vetoed a UN motion calling for an immediate ceasefire in Gaza, despite being a lone Security Council member to vote against it. The resolution, introduced by Council's 10 non-permanent members, was backed by 14 of its 15 member states, including UK, France, and Russia. U.S.'s opposition to this resolution should come as no surprise. Dorothy Shea, the acting U.S. envoy, told the Council on Wednesday it is unacceptable for what it does say, it is unacceptable for what it does not say, and it is unacceptable for the manner in which it has been advanced. The United States has been clear, she added, we would not support any measure that fails to condemn Hamas and does not call for Hamas to disarm and leave Gaza. U.S. Secretary of State Marco Rubio said that the resolution would only serve to advance the interest of Hamas terrorists while undermining diplomatic efforts. So let me be very clear. Hamas is not demanding much, and I'm not saying that they're right for what they're doing. Don't get me wrong here. But what they're demanding is, hey, give us the aid. Don't involve innocent civilians in here, right? Give them the food they need. Give them the water they need, the resources they need. Those are basic human rights. That should not be part of warfare. Right, that is where I completely disagree with what Israel's government is doing. Right, you have, like I said, I hate to repeat myself and sound like a broken record, but you've got innocent children that are dying, absolutely dying to malnutrition. Right, they're eating food from the ground. I saw a video which is absolutely, it tore my heart up, where a kid is eating noodles and soup that is actually fallen onto the dirt and soil. Right, just to fill his stomach. That is not right. That is not acceptable. Let's continue on with the article. Rubio echoed Shea's early remarks, saying that the UN measure should clearly condemn Hamas and call them to disarm and leave Gaza, and adding that the U.S. will continue to stand with Israel. Well, I mean, does that surprise anybody, really? As a permanent member of the Council, the U.S. wields veto power over any resolutions. China, France, Russia, and United Kingdom are the other 4 permanent members. The non-permanent members who have advanced the resolution are Algeria, Denmark, Greece, Guyana, Pakistan, Panama, the Republic of Korea, Sierra Leone, Slovenia, and Somalia. And thank you. Thank you for those countries that are actually standing up and doing something and saying something. Because, again, medical aid should not be part of warfare. Should not be part of the general picture. Let's continue again. In recent months, Hamas has rejected numerous ceasefire proposals, including one over the weekend that would provide a pathway to end the conflict and release the remaining 58 hostages, Shea told the council. We cannot allow the Security Council to reward Hamas's intransitions. I'm sorry if I mispronounced that. Intransitions. She added that the terrorist group is the one that continues to threaten Israel and puts Palestinian civilians in Gaza in Gaza in harm's way every day using them as human shields, which is absolutely incorrect. It is actually the opposite. We will get into that in a different video where, you can clearly see that IDF soldiers are using kids as human shields. There's videos which, I don't want to show because they're very, very graphic, of kids getting shot in the head and in the chest at point blank. She added that the terrorist group is the one that continues to threaten Israel and puts Palestinian civilians in Gaza's harm, as we read that. It is inexplicable that many members of this council still refuse to acknowledge that Hamas could end this conflict tomorrow by surrendering and laying down its arms, she said. It is unconscionable that the United Nations still has not labeled and sanctioned Hamas as a terrorist organization. In addition to refusing once again to condemn Hamas for the cowardly and evil acts that set this brutal conflict into motion, this resolution contains other serious defects, she added. Danny Danon, the Israeli ambassador to the UN, stated the resolution voted on was a gift to Hamas and risked emboldening terrorism. You choose appeasement and submission. You choose a road that does not lead to peace, only to terror, he told the members of the council, with the exception of Washington. Instead of confronting the truth, some on the council attempted to bury it. Instead of applying pressure where it belongs on Hamas, you have applied it on the country actively working to bring its people home, Danon said. That is a bunch of horseshit, okay? That is the most fucked up explanation I've ever heard, honestly. Okay, that is not true. They are occupying Gaza. They are occupying the state of Palestine. All right, they are forcing people. They are forcing people to actually leave their homes, live in schools that are still being demolished anyways. Okay, they are not. This. Oh my God! It's mind-boggling. Mind-boggling. The reason why Hamas is actually rejecting this deal or rejecting the ceasefires is because they want permanent peace. They don't want to fight anymore. They want, to live their life in peace. And again, I'm not saying what they did in the past was good. All acts of terrorism is condemned. Any killing is condemned whatsoever, especially when there's children, innocent children, and women involved, and civilians involved, I should say. This vote was not diplomacy, he said. That is surrender, and it sends a clear message to Hamas. Reject every deal and the international community will still reward you. Hold innocent civilians hostage and the UN will still give you legitimacy. Continue the war and the pressure will still fall on Israel, not on the terrorists who started this war. I don't know what else to say. I mean, this is clearly, not going to work. And I've said this before if you've watched my videos, my prior videos, that Benjamin Netanyahu and his cabinet have no intentions of peace talks, have no intentions of a two-state solution. They want to ethnically cleanse Gaza. Okay, it all comes down to the deal that they have pending with Donald J. Trump, who wants to, take over Gaza and turn it into a real estate, hotels and a resort, right? And there's also other parties involved. Miriam Adelson is another one that's also involved. You guys should know that they, her husband and herself have donated a ton of money to Donald Trump's campaign. Okay, over $3 million, 300 million, not 3 million, but 300 million. And what that means in return, quid pro quo, is, hey, let Benjamin Netanyahu kind of run, what he wants to and just annihilate Palestine, which is absolutely not right. There should be some sort of, benchmark or some sort of cap on how much a person can donate. Anyhow, let's continue here. Danon thanked Washington for its veto and for standing on the right side, for standing on the side of the truth, justice, and morality. And moral clarity, rather, and for refusing to abandon the hostages and for refusing to legitimize the lies of this resolution. The lies are coming from the other side, guys. Okay, we have to understand this. If you do the research and if you read these articles, you will see that it is Israel that is mounting pressure. It is Israel that continues to bomb. And the aid that they had set up through GDF, a couple of days ago. That was a complete ruse. What they did was they got all these guys, all these Palestinians to come in and line up, to get aid, and then they opened fire, right? And chaos erupted. This is not right. This is uncalled for. The UK mission to the United States. The UK mission to the UN stated that it voted in favor of the resolution and due to aid situation in Gaza with humanitarian assistance provided by a private company at distribution sites within IDF-controlled areas. And I mentioned this before. This is that they have their own areas. You come in, people line up from 6 o'clock in the morning, and it is nothing but chaos, and people end up dying. And up to 40 people have already died through those aid distribution centers. I'm not going to read you any more of that because it pretty much goes over the same thing. And you can see where Israel's stance is and you can see how strongly U.S. supports Israel. Now I'm going to show you exactly what's happening with the journalists. Let's get into that topic. Let me very quickly pull up the video for you, and you'll take a look for yourself, and you will see what is happening. All right, let's look at the video first, and then we'll quickly go over that article there. And so this is an illegal border, or illegal, border that they've set up for aid that's coming in. And let's take a look here, and then we'll discuss it on the other side.
So what they're trying to do is block trucks like this you can see this get running and demand the ID of the drivers. That's how they know whether they're delivering aid or not. And obviously that's not at all illegal. The police are just down the hill. I don't know what's to them. They're blocking us from shooting. Staying a minute. So basically one of the ways that they get intelligence is by asking soldiers like one in the car behind us to give them information. And so that's how they know where the convoys are going, when they're going, whether they'll be in junctions like this one. Oh! Easy! What's with... We did not take a picture of you. When you're coming in with a masked face, that's very scary. No, I did not see you. But you came and you... No face. What is this? This is a camera.
I should point out that that fellow in the mask is an IDF soldier, and he mentioned it earlier in the video. Okay, it is not Hamas, so don't get confused. And let's finish the video off.
Right down here, they just put that boulder right in front of the wheels to block it. Do you have a right to ask them for documents?
We just ask him from where he will go, and then I give.
Okay. How many trucks have you stopped today?
Today, because the police we stopped. One.
So what you're seeing here is that these youth, mostly teenagers, have basically established an extrajudicial checkpoint. They're blocking these trucks, demanding IDs of the driver to know whether they are Jews or Palestinians. So if they're Palestinians, they stop the trucks. They think they might be carrying aid to Gaza.
אני מתריע בפניכם שבמידה ולא תפזרו את המחאה פה היא לא חוקית ואנחנו רשאים להשתמש גם בכוח בשביל לפזר אתכם.
A shout out to Rania for posting this, and you can see here it says illegal settlers and imported trash have set up roadblocks to ensure no aid gets to Gaza, evil personified. And as you can see here, I'm pointing it out with my mouse here, 12:58 June 4th, so it is very, very recent. Again, it would have been impossible to see this if it wasn't for journalists trying to get in and show you what exactly is happening. It's basically a domino effect here. We're not able to see what's going on. We don't know what the truth is because journalists aren't able to get in. Journalists, these news outlets, that are controlled by billionaire moguls are reporting whatever they want, and they're filtering the news. And that's why I'm here. I want to bring to you unfiltered news. And the last thing I'm going to show you about the situation right now is basically the article. Sorry, let me quickly pull up this article, and I will show you right now. You have to see this for yourself as well too. And there it is. And you can see here. And just to give you an idea, this is the map right here. So you've got Israel, you've got Gaza, there's your West Bank, and there's the other part. Okay, West Bank, Palestine. So there's your West Bank, and there's Gaza, Palestine. Let's look at this very quickly. Gaza journalist death toll rise to 225. The International Federation of Journalists, IFJ, and Palestinian Journalists Syndicate, PJS, condemned the killings. And I'm only going to read a portion of this for you. The number of journalists killed in Gaza since October 2023 has risen to 225. The media office of the Gaza government said on Thursday, since the beginning of the war, extermination against the Palestinian population, the number of killed journalists have increased to 225. After the deaths of 4 more people, the statement read. We call on the International Federation of Journalists, or the IFJ, the Palestinian Journalists Syndicate, and journalist organizations worldwide to condemn these systematic crimes against Palestinian journalists and media workers in the Gaza Strip. Earlier on Thursday, Tahsin Al-Astal, Deputy Director of Palestinian Journalists Syndicate, told RIA Novosti that 4 media workers from Arab satellite TV channels were killed in an Israeli airstrike. The strike reportedly targeted their tent near the Al-Ahli Arab Baptist Hospital in Gaza City. The International Federation of Journalists, IFJ, and Palestinian Journalists Syndicate, PJS, condemned the killing and called for an immediate investigation into their deaths. According to the Gaza Ministry of Health, more than 4,400 Palestinians have been killed and more than 13,400 injured in the enclave since 18th March. This is unfiltered news. This is exactly what is going on. I'm showing you firsthand. Guys, again, the time to sit back, it's gone. Okay? Peaceful protest, raising your voice, sharing this video, sharing if I'm not, if I'm not the type of content you like, you have somebody else who's doing the same thing, support them, subscribe to them, share their content, speak to your government officials, peaceful protest, and speak up for these Palestinians, right? Because ceasefires are getting vetoed, food is not going in, children are dying, women are dying, there is chaos. And I can tell you without a shadow of doubt, with the utmost confidence, again, Benjamin Netanyahu, his cabinet, Donald Trump have absolutely no intentions for a ceasefire or peace talks. Guys, it is up to us to be the voice of Palestinians. And last but not least, a shout out to Greta Thunberg, who is now sailing through Greece on her way to Palestine to deliver aid, much needed aid, to the innocent civilians of Gaza. Let's pray that this war ends, that all wars across the world end, and peace is restored. Guys, if you like my content, if you like what I'm bringing to you, please like, share, subscribe, leave a comment. I want to hear what you think about this entire situation. If you're a Palestinian living in Canada or in the US or anywhere around the world, and you have some stories you want to share, please put them in the comments, and I will see you in the next video. Thank you very much.